What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K of PNTS Network and StadiaDosage, welcoming you to the official podcast for Weekly Checkup. If you are familiar with this podcast, you'll know that this show is hosted weekly by Daryl Schmock Jr. and myself. Unfortunately, Daryl Schmock couldn't make it today. Things got tied up at work. Hopefully he'll be able to join us next week. But I decided that we still had enough content to where I would just fly solo this week, and we could talk about it. We did something special this week where normally we don't present to the public everything that we've recorded on Friday. This show is recorded on Fridays with the members, so they get to interact live and all that stuff. So all the comments and stuff that you see are from the members. And then we release it to the public on Sunday, but we only release part of it to the public on Sunday. So at times there'll be anywhere between a half an hour, or anywhere from 15 minutes to hell, even an hour's worth of content that the members are only getting. Today we recorded about 45 minutes. But what I'm doing is I separated that and I put that members content out there. And what we're going to do is directly after this premieres, that's going to premiere. And then this will take you right to that. So you can check that out. In our conversation, we kind of had a talk about my thoughts on the whole Xbox Activision deal and the arguments that are happening. And, you know, my thoughts on the whole console war thing and why I don't participate as much as I do, and as they say, my head is stuck in the clouds. So, you know, great stuff. All right, before we get started, I do want to bring up a few things. Let me see here. Boom. Let me get rid of that. Hold on. Let me see if I can find. Is this it? No. There we go. All right. Let me show you something. So, for those of you that have been with me for a while, you may remember that back in 2019, I think it was. Oh no, 2018. We created the MM2K gaming brand. All right, and I'm explaining where this is coming from and why we're here where we're at now. Hold on, give me a second. So we created the MM2K gaming brand back in 2018. That's because I get it. A lot of my views are controversial, and I push the envelope sometimes, but I express exactly how I feel. And as we say in the streets, you can take it or squeeze it. You can do it or not. You don't like it, you know, come on. But then let's talk about it. And therefore, that puts me in a lot of back and forths with people. And if you think I'm bad now, those that have been following me for a while know that I am like 1,000% tamed in comparison to what I used to do or used to be back in the day. We came on the scene like fiery hot. We thought that the general way that gaming was being perceived and illustrated was off key. It was all about whoever was the most popular setting the precedent for everybody. And then people were being misinformed, being strayed away from things that would really better suit and fit them, because I want to be right as that more popular person, right? So I can continue to get the clicks, because if what I say predominates, then I'm going to remain popular and, and see more success. It was all about me, 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 me. It wasn't about serving a community. And I've been gaming for 35 plus years, and way back in my day, we were all about serving the greater gaming community and make sure that our fellow nerds were comfortable. You know what I'm saying? That they had access to whatever they had access to. I would tell people, I remember going into the arcade and seeing the Dungeons and Dragons, they would have like the big old table out front, and seeing the Dungeons and Dragons being played out there. And I didn't know much about the game. But I would sit out there and see that they were enjoying themselves, and it would make me feel good, because while they're enjoying themselves, I'm about to go into the arcade and, play the hell out of some Street Fighter or some Darkstalkers or whatever, some Rampage, Altered Beast, and enjoy the hell out of myself. And it was just that whole atmosphere of love and appreciation and competitiveness and all the other stuff, but overall enjoyment that made me happy as a gamer. And now that we've, gotten to 2022, it's not about enjoyment anymore. Enjoyment's at the bottom. It's about what fight we can pick. And some of you may hear that and say, well, the irony is you're always picking fights or whatever. No, I'm laying it out as it is. If a fight results from that, so be it. But we're clearing the brush. We're clearing the brush of all the bull crap. We're dealing with facts. We're dealing with reality, and we're letting people enjoy what they enjoy. And we're exposing gaming for what it should be, not the monolith that you want it to be, so you remain popular and appear as the all-seeing eye of how everything should be. For instance, you don't like cloud gaming? Good for you. I do. I shouldn't be shamed for liking something because you don't. Especially when you're still wet behind the ears. I can smell the Similac from miles away, and you try to explain to me, just because you've only played God of War and Elden Ring, how gaming should be. You know what I'm saying? Like, mammy jammy, please. So, that's how we've entered gaming, and it was abrasive, caused a lot of friction and all that other stuff. But at the heart of it, I've always just wanted to play games and enjoy that. And sometimes I couldn't do that because, I would always be in the middle of these fights. And the main thing was, the main promotion tool for us is Twitter. So, I mean, maybe saying that I was always in these fights is a little bit overzealous, but, it's hard for me to promote a game stream on a page that has a lot of back and forth happening. So what we wanted to do was separate all that stuff, all the debates and differences of opinions, and just give gaming. Because that's what it's all about. Just give gaming its own section. So we created MM2K Gaming, right? And it's something that we pursued. We started in 2018, and then it kind of fizzled out. And it really died down because, our focus on Stadia, StadiaDosage, and all other stuff. And now that StadiaDosage, we feel the community is in a good spot, self-sustained, and able to do its thing and progress, without much needed contribution from me. I mean, we're still going to be around. We're still going to be doing the same content that we're doing and some. But I wanted to, again, take instead of taking the time scouring and looking where my assistance may be needed, because it's not anymore, but people are doing bigger and better things than I ever could in regards to this platform. Kudos to them. We're going to take some of that extra time now that presents itself for us to double down on playing more games. So the MM2K gaming moniker is back. We're going to be playing a lot of games. We're going to be playing a lot of Stadia games. Mostly we're going to be playing Stadia games, you know, for the most part. As I said before, you know, when God of War comes out, we're going to be playing a lot of God of War, you know. But for the most part, we're going to be playing Stadia cloud games. We have an official sponsor, affiliate sponsor, which is Rogue Energy. I was just you just heard me sipping on that. Great stuff. Go check it out. The link and stuff is all in the description. You can get 15% off by using that link and using the coupon code MM2K. But yeah, we're gonna be playing a lot of games, man. We're gonna be playing a lot of games. Old Dirty Blasters, you know, all that stuff is still intact. But wherever you see me doing a game stream, that's going to be under the MM2K Gaming brand, and we got a lot of, you know, lined up for this brand. So definitely check it out. And what I would suggest that you do is go ahead and follow us on Twitter. That's gonna be your best way to know what we're doing live. Like when we went live yesterday. There goes all the links to where we'll be present at, but also our links to our Cyberpunk stream, which was a hell of a stream. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun doing that. So definitely check. So that's the best way to keep up with what's going on with our game streams, is go follow MM2K Gaming on Twitter. And once we continue to build on this and get things fleshed out, you know, we'll have a dedicated web page and all the other stuff. But go again to MM2K Gaming on Twitter. Go ahead and give us a follow if you want to keep up with our game streams. All right. Okay, cool. There's something else too that I wanted to bring attention to. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold on. Did I not bookmark it? I didn't bookmark it. MM2K, you're a jerk, MM2K. You're a jerk. You're a jerk. There we go. All right, but I know if I go here, check out my good friend here, then I bookmark it here. First, I'm gonna copy the link to it, and then I'm gonna bookmark it. There you go, MM. All right, so now we can overwrite this. Here we go. This is dope. This is why I love this community, because we're always active. And again, that's why MM2K Gaming, the brand, is so important right now. We got the good fight to fight, continue, you know what I'm saying? There's still some knuckleheads out there trying to put out misinformation and steer people the wrong way for their own personal agenda. And we're gonna still deal with that. But at the end of the day, the thing that's always gotten to me is how we can congregate together and play some games. And shout out to the homegirl Purple Haze and the homie Jeff G for putting this together. This is Purple Haze says registration is now live for the Stadia Community Mortal Kombat 11 tournament. Thank you to my co-organizer Jeff G for helping pull this together. Not a fighter, but an organizer. Feel free to fill out the form too. So fill out the form. I urge everybody to fill out the form. Go join, go participate. The Mortal Kombat tournaments in the Stadia community are always the best. Always a whole load of fun. And this is not going to be any different. All right. So definitely sign up. You know, I don't want to say too much. The only thing I will say is that it'll be worth your while, not just for gameplay to sign up. They're actively working to try to make this worth your while as much as possible. So shout out to them. This is great. This is fantastic. And this is the stuff that I love to see. All right. All right. So let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into the news. So let's do this. And go back here. Stadia news. All right, we need to fix that. And I should have known that was going to need it to be fixed, because nothing ever works. There we go. We got to bring that down a little bit, right? I think so. Bring it down a little bit. There we go. I like it. Like it. Oh, sheesh. Like it. Oh, God. Like it like that. There we go. Let's talk some Stadia news, y'all. As you all know, we get our Stadia news from our sister site, StadiaDosage.com. So, with no further ado, let me show you something. All right, so there's 4 new games coming to Stadia. This is from StadiaDosage.com, and the article reads as follows. It's blog post Thursday on Stadia Community Blog, and you know what that means. A brand new next up on Stadia blog post detailing 4 new games coming soon to the platform. Let's take a look at the varied list of games that has been announced. We got Snowtopia, previously hinted by a PEGI rating, developed by T4Two. And it's described as follows: build the ideal ski resort to keep your skiers smiling all the way down the mountain. And it gives you a description on the website of everything that it does. Here, let's take a look at this trailer for Snowtopia. All right, so that's Snowtopia. Interesting, to say the least. Let's go. So if you're into those, I forgot what you call those games, to those, those strategy building games and stuff like that, definitely check that out, or be in anticipation for that. So this is Somni. This is the first time I'm seeing this trailer, so let's check this out. Okay, that's definitely interesting. It looks like that what it is this a what used to be a VR game coming to Stadia, so that's cool. All right, wonder how they're gonna do that. All right, so next up is Gravatar. Let's take a look at Gravatar. All right, dope. That's Gravatar. And then next and I think last we have age restricted video only available on YouTube. So let's watch it on YouTube. This is Slaycation. Check it out. Okay, that is Slaycation. And I think that's all the games. Yes, all of them. So coming soon, people who had questions on why this wasn't part of the, what's it called, that was released the day earlier. Who knows? The only thing that I do know is that there was a weird interaction that I had, or few of us had with this, what's his name? Max, from IGN. Max Scoville, I think it is, from IGN, right? And Max is one of the, Lord Jesus, he's one of the Mensa candidates. I think he was with, who was he with? He was with Destructoid or something like that, way back in the day. And Max wants to be a comedian. He's not quite there yet. But what makes him cool is he can be half talented as a comedian, but be into games. Because we gamers love people that cross-pollinate into other things. So that, because that makes us even cooler. Hey, that person who's a singer is a gamer too, even though they can't carry a note. You know what I mean? That ballet dancer is great, even though they, you know, every time they walk, they stumble. That ballet dancer is a gamer too. We just, as gamers, as somebody is, you know, maybe and have a different interest as well, a well-recognized interest, we want to hop in and, you know, say, ooh, and claim them too. Look at the, you know, yeah, this stand-up comedian is a gamer too. That's cool. So he, you know, whatever. He's built a fan base off of that. Well, again, as part of being IGN's elite reporters, he made this assumption that Paw Patrol was the headline game for Stadia in the fall. So we had to correct him. Excuse me. So instead of taking the time to research, he then comes back and says, oh, no, I got that wrong. I meant September. And I'm like, no, it's not the headliner for September either. It's FIFA. And then if you take into consideration the games that we have before September, the games in totality that we got coming after September, even if Paw Patrol was our only game coming out in September, like what else is coming out elsewhere that you're really like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, stop it, Max. And what he did is, foolishly, he went online. I mean, he was on air during this video where he's talking about this, and he's like, well, not talking about this, but what sparked it was he did a video where he brings up Paw Patrol and says it's on Stadia 2, where, you know, all three of its gamers will enjoy it. And it was like, no, you know, you got a problem with what I just said, come and bring it, all three of you. So that's what we did. We brought it. And it seemed like Max wasn't trying to indulge for long. So he learned a very valuable lesson that day. This ain't 2020 anymore. That's why I said I don't need to be as quote unquote as bad and naughty as I used to be. I can, you know, the keys are in good hands now. The community, they know what needs to be done. They know what needs to be addressed. They know what needs to be avoided. Like, I think the community has a great gyrometer. Is that what it is? You know, like little compass thing that just points you into. They know how to navigate social media now better than I do. You know, so that they don't need me in that regards. We're still gonna have the content where we talk about news just like this. We're still gonna have the open mics. We're still gonna have the videos and things like that. But a lot of the time that was spent, again, scouring and seeing which situations we needed to be active in, that, which is a lot of time. We don't need that anymore. We're just gonna use that time to focus in playing games. But yeah, the Stadia community let Max know that, you know, he needs to come up from out of his rock that he's been under for the past 2 years as it relates to cloud gaming, and brush up his info and try again. You know what I mean? But I brought that up to say this. I don't know if, again, this is all conspiracy theory, MM2K. I don't know if this is in response to that. I don't know if they said, you know what, let's just put this out here. Because IGN is the world's largest gaming platform, and they could misinform some people. So let's just put it out here that there are games on the horizon. We may not have dates for them yet, but there are games on the horizon. And, you know, Max, take a chill pill. Go get some Metamucil. Loosen it up a little bit. Let it out. Okay? So, very interesting stuff indeed. But it's great to see these games. You know what I mean? And I'm not quite sure in the race to 100. By the end of the, you know, there's this big race to 100 that we've all been talking about and watching. I don't know exactly how closer this brings Stadia to the race to 100, and it's kind of hard to like put this in there yet, because these are coming soon, and you know, we can surmise that these are coming within the next month or so maybe, but we don't want to do it because it's not official. So it's hard to put tangible number or add these to tangible numbers. But you know, it's getting it closer to that 100 mark, right? That was talked about, you know, that was promised earlier in the year. All right. So with that said, very interesting stuff indeed. We are going to continue on with the news. And I want to shout out Koist523 for, I just got a notification that Koist523 joined us on Twitch. Shout out to you, my good friend. Appreciate it. Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty coming to Stadia in 2023. But before we go there, there's a comment that is burning my eyeballs. It's singeing my eyeballs. Now, you know what? I'm gonna wait, but I'm gonna bring it to your attention right now, because we'll talk about this at the end. But this is a great question from Simpleton. He says, how is Activision thing different than all the publishers Sony has been buying up for years? And I only say Sony for comparison. I'm aware Microsoft and Nintendo do it too. Now, that's to piggyback off of our content that aired earlier than this, but if you're watching this on Sunday, it's going to premiere after this. great content from Simpleton. I'm going to mark it to ensure that I cover it. I'm gonna cover this question after we do our raffle. How about that, Simpleton? So I love the question. We're gonna address, because I missed it. I don't know if you had put it up there before we ended the what's it called, but I'm gonna definitely address it. Hey yo, says Geek to Sneak in the house. I got my Rogue Energy, bro. Got my first tub. Let me look at this real quick. Do not exceed the recommended dose. What is the recommended dose? It doesn't tell me how much I can have per day. This stuff is so good though. Am I just supposed to have one serving per day? Maybe I am. Maybe I'm just supposed to have one serving per day, but this is like you can't put that around kids. Like Rogue Energy, like Geek, tell them. Please let them know in the chat. Rogue Energy is so freaking good that it tastes. You can't leave this around kids, because this is an energy drink. It's kind of like a pre-workout thing without all the crazy harmful stimulants that pre-workout drinks already have. It dissolves easy, doesn't give you the jitters, so you can tell that it's not packed with all that bad stuff that those have. And trust me, I have a lot of experience with it. I had a good conversation with my friend Squid, and I was telling him about all the stuff that I was taking last night when I used to do like some serious weightlifting. And this one pre-workout thing gave me the most odd side effect. So I told him, I said, when I took this Rogue Energy, I said, if that would have happened, I would have been like, oh boy, you just got them sedatives and stuff in it, but it didn't. No jitters. I don't like feel antsy or like uncontrollable. I just got energy, which is dope. And even when I eat, the energy doesn't go away or I don't crash. So it's great. Don't do more than 2, he says. Okay, gotcha. Play it safe. I've used to 2 a day. Okay. And shout out to Geek. Thanks to Geek, he's the one that helped us. Oh, he says, same, your Rocket Pop came in. So I got Black Cherry. So you gotta let me know how much you enjoy that Rocket Pop. What's up? Bulls for life in the house. Good to see you. Dusty Aran says, relax, Max. Yeah, man. Max was wilding, man. He was bugging. Let me tell y'all a quick story about Max, and hopefully this goes by Max. I can't remember where he was at, but I'm telling you guys, I was notorious. See, this should have been part of the pre-show. But I was notorious back in the day. I'm known. They know me in GameSpot. I used to get banned so many times. I was Mighty Most 2000 at GameSpot. And somebody that's a moderator, I used to get banned so many times. I was horrible. Like, even on Twitter, I've calmed down a lot. I used to be so bad. But believe it or not, you would frequent a lot of devs that were out there using their sock accounts and stuff like that. And I met, after like engaging people out there on particularly like the GameSpot forums, I came across some interesting people. I'm not gonna sit there and say they were uber famous, but I've come across some devs that worked on some very popular games, and I've had some very, very, very interesting conversations with these devs. So, yeah, man, I was notorious on GameSpot. Yeah, I would get banned all the time, and then send them these long diatribes of how they were wrong and how I would expose them, and the mods would laugh at me. You know, that was notorious. But I used to be real bad over there. So the reason why I brought that up is because wherever Max was at, I don't know. He'll probably remember me now that I put that name out there, Mighty Most 2000. Wherever he was at, I was part of their chat board too, and I used to lay into them. I used to lament them so bad, and I used to go after Max all the time. I'm surprised I didn't give that poor guy a breakdown. I was bad. The MM2K now knows that the MM2K back then was too bad. If I was talking to myself back then, I'd be like, you know what, dude, you need to chill out. Stop being an a-hole. Stop being a jerk. You know what I'm saying? But so I was it was like, oh, let me mess with Max for old time's sake. You know what I mean? But yeah, dude, it was just silly. It was something silly and stupid to do. You never disregard a player base like that. That was just dumb. I was just dumb. You know, I don't know. We'll see. Apparently, and apparently somebody had a conversation with somebody, Dusty, in chat and viewers, because he came back way too apologetic. So like somebody must have saw that. And it wasn't like there was 50 of us that ganged up on him. It was like a handful of us. Like I was like, please let it be more than 3 so he doesn't say, see, my joke was right. You know, only 3 of them were good. But there was like a handful of us that came back at him and had stuff to say. And again, with the experience that I had, I know somebody had to pull him to the side and say, nope, that wasn't cool. Don't like it. Maybe we were too loose at the goose and letting these insults towards Stadia fly, but maybe it's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? And he came back out and tried to walk it back and all that stuff. So like I said, I ain't gotta be what I'm known for anymore. I could just, play these games and stream them, go back to doing that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was stupid. It was stupid for him to say that. Depending on the servings and whatnot, most energy drinks are no more than 2 to 4. Okay, cool. Jacked 3D almost killed me. Yeah, bro. I used to take stuff with creatine. Yeah, trust me, I know. I used to take stuff with creatine, and I went overboard with everything. I used to put creatine in my applesauce, and I would have that like 2 or 3 times a day. That's not recommended. That was crazy. And part of the reason, a lot of the problems that I'm having now are based upon all that crazy I used to do. Feeling good today, still having issues talking, but wanted to come and hang out with y'all. Hey, I appreciate it, Bulls. And, you're in our prayers, brother. Sending, good vibes, whatever y'all can do for my good brother Bulls, man. I've been a long time supporter. We pulling for you, brother. We hoping that, for a speedy recovery, man. So you're in our thoughts and prayers, definitely. All right. So let's continue on with the Stadia news. Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty coming to Stadia in 2023. Here's the biggest takeaway. Well, let's just read a little bit from the article here. It says, a couple of days ago, we discussed what's next for Cyberpunk 2077. Today, CD Projekt Red has revealed the name and the trailer for the game's upcoming expansion, as well as more details in the Edge Runners update for the game. So for old time's sake, picture that. Let's check out the trailer. Of course, y'all see the Stadia logo there. That was dope looking. Of course, that was ran off the PC, but if you guys follow my stream here, let me do this. I'm gonna do this, and I'm only doing this real quick again. Shameless plug. Hopefully, my friends at StadiaDosage don't mind me doing this. Let me see if I can find. Hold on, StadiaDosage Plus. There we go. All right. Okay. So I found. Oh Jesus! I found the channel. And I just want to show you guys something real quick. So this is StadiaDosage Plus. This is our channel on Twitch. Definitely check us out because we'll do streams there. And when we do streams on StadiaDosage Plus, it may be in 1080p, but man, it's a lush looking 1080p, 60 frames per second. And you get music and overlays, and it's a lot more interactive there, you know, just because of the nature of Twitch. But I just want to show you guys like what our Cyberpunk 2077 stream looked like on yesterday, or I want to say Thursday. Let me see if I can find some action here. Because this particular part that I was playing, there wasn't a whole lot of action. You know, because I hadn't played the game in a long time. All right, so I don't want to spoil. Let's see. Let me get past this part. All right, so here we go. Now, granted, it may not look like a flat 60 frames per second, and let me explain to you guys why. Well, it's still rendering. But I did something with the hardware acceleration. I mean, not hardware acceleration, but the acceleration of some of the features on Chrome. So it looks better, but it does it at the sacrifice of when I'm recording, the stability of the frames. I'm still testing it out, but it's definitely something worth looking into. Just keep in mind that it gets rid of WebGL. So if you're doing things like using Adobe or whatever, you can't use that anymore. So my recommendation is, if you're going to look into, and the feature is for the angle card acceleration in Chrome. If you're going to switch it to what I'm using now, which is D3, I think it's D3D11 on D3D12. If you're going to do that, you're going to want to use it on a Chromium browser that you don't use for anything else but Stadia. And if you use it on a browser that you use for anything else, you're going to limit your capabilities, because it will make your stream look nicer. It will make your game look nicer. But again, it's going to come at the risk of other stuff. All right, so I think there's some action here. Come on. Here we go. So I will say this, that, hold on. Is it a 1080p 60 here? Yeah, it is. Okay. So I will say that for a while, I didn't play this game because I didn't like, it seemed like that it was degraded in its fidelity. And Original Penguin confirmed that. He did a reset, or he did a pixel, he redid his pixel count, and it looked like that they had degraded, you know, something. I don't know if they did that because Qlog had got bought by Tencent, and Tencent was like, you know, hell would you stay? I don't know what the reasoning was. I don't know if they had to do that to accommodate some of the new feature sets or something like that. I don't know, but it had got degraded and I couldn't play it. I simply couldn't play it. So I stopped playing it. So that's why you didn't see me playing Cyberpunk 2077. Now I played it again, tweaked some things, but even before I tweaked things, I noticed that the fidelity was better. Not as what it was, maybe not so much as what it was before, but very close. I was able to enjoy it again. And so hopefully it stays this way or only gets better. But I'm going to tell you that getting this new content on Stadia, where I don't know if you guys paid attention, this new content is not coming to the older consoles. It's not coming to the PlayStation, and it's not 4, and it's not coming to the Xbox One. It's only PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and Stadia, along with PC. And so, to me, that just says a lot about the platform that we've been saying. I've been talking to people, and they've been saying Stadia got to upgrade the hardware. They got to upgrade the hardware. And I get the argument. I get the basis behind the argument of that happening, but that's not going to fix the problem. You know, the carriage can't come before the horse. You have to deal with developer involvement first. And luckily for us, Cyberpunk is the one that has a porting house that's working on this. So that's their job, is perfecting the port the best way that they can. Or, or maybe depending on how well the best way that they can, or, you know what I'm saying? Or not just putting the game on the platform, but again, improving the port, the status of the game. We have a situation like that with Q-Lock being involved in the porting of the game. As far as I'm aware, again, they were bought by Tencent, so I don't know if they've been removed from that or if they've taken a lesser role. I'm not sure, but at least there's that foundation that was set by them. So therefore, we got better at launch than was in most places where the game was bought. Or I don't want to say most places, but in a good chunk of where the game was bought. And also, we're going to continue to enjoy the continuation of this game being built upon because Stadia is capable enough of doing that. So we talked about the things that we heard from Red Storm, who worked on the port for Division 2. They told us that this thing is powerful. We've talked to Mantis Games here on this platform, and they told us this thing is powerful. They said, we've seen the more powerful versions. It's crazy. It's just a matter of Stadia trying to decide of whether, when it's optimal to put that out there. And I think a large part of that is going to play into when they can get developer involvement high enough to really utilize that extra power. Because it's not a matter of you just flipping a switch and then games just start looking better. No, you have to do the at this point in time, you got to do the manual work. So that's where we're hoping that the load change porting gets involved too. And it takes less work that has to be done in order for that to happen. That being said, at the end of the day, it says a lot for Stadia that they are getting these next gen upgrades or current gen, whatever you want to call it. The other platforms aren't. That's why I don't. When people ask the Stadia next gen, I don't say next gen. I say new #new gen. Where again, it's seamless gen after. Like we have every iteration of Stadia in our hands right now. Every iteration of it in our hands right now that's ever going to come. That doesn't mean that it's not. I'm not saying that to say it's not going to improve. We now have access to it because this is a cloud platform, and that's how it works. As these servers get upgraded, we then will have access. We don't have to stand in line and pay $500 for it. We now have we have access to it. We have a long-standing ticket that will always grant us access to future iterations of Stadia. And that's a dope thing. And being a seamless platform such as this, you know what I mean? You may have hiccups here and there based upon developer involvement, But that doesn't mean that doesn't within itself count against the platform. The platform is very capable, and I think this is a sign that shows that. All right. So dope stuff, and yeah, definitely check us out on Stadia Dosage Plus or Stadia Dosage Streams. You can check us out there too. All right, so dope stuff. Okay. And there's a couple of things that we want to talk about. There's the Stadia Apk Findings. I also thought that was interesting because, as they say here on StadiaDosage.com, we see more mentions of 4K and 1440p streaming, which isn't yet available on phones, and new strings around data rates. This follows the additional string we found previously, including APK 4.29. Presumably, we're going to see 4K and 1440p streaming support soon. It says next there are a number of new strings, and they give the names of the strings. Searching the interwebs failed to illuminate what siren means, is named as part of the one of the strings. But shout out to Marcus of the Stadia Twitter community. He had responded with some information about that, so definitely check Twitter for that. Let me see what else. We see a couple more strings related to immersive events in esports. A lot more esports strings were first found in our 422 APK breakdown. So this is all dope stuff, and you can't beat it with a stick. Again, the platform is growing, it's improving. I love to see it. You know what I'm saying? Stadia, I think with Stadia's vision may have been the bites that they wanted to take at first may have been a little bit bigger, but they weren't sustainable. You hear a lot of people say, oh, Stadia's, taking their good old time to do stuff, and they're not progressing, and they're failing and all that other stuff. Even though Stadia, the bites that they were taking as far as the news was concerned, the things that they were doing outwardly as far as their presentation were bigger than what they may be now in some ways. Even the expectations that a lot of gamers had were well beyond, as Strauss-Zelnick said, they were a lot loftier than what even Stadia said themselves. Like the expectation set, like they thought this was an Xbox PlayStation competitor out of the box, which Stadia told you themselves multiple times, months before launch. This is not the case. They have a specific target demo that they're aiming for, and this is what they're building from, and it's going to take years for them to be on the same plateau as the richer experiences that you get from hardware. These are their words, not mine. But they are making changes. Google, as we confirmed, Google is invested in the platform. The parent company Alphabet invested in these upgrades. And I made a tweet last night where I just commented, I just think it's very silly at times and comical when I hear, people in the mainstream. I see a lot of the blue check marks now. They saw something where Stadia, or not Stadia, but Google said we're going to cut back 20%, and they're like, "Yep, Stadia's gone." It's comical when I see that, because these people clearly have never had hiring or firing experiences, but they still try to interpret what these comments mean, and they're always wrong. But being wrong means nothing anymore. Neither does being right. That being said, they're invested into the platform. Nobody knows what Stadia is going to look like 5 years from now. We can only surmise it and make our guesstimations. We did so on the 100th episode of SSC podcast or whatever. But to equate that comment to this and to believe that Google has given up on Stadia, as you're hearing again from a lot of the blue check marks, is asinine. And it just proves the lack of a business acumen that they have. Let me just give you one prime example. And I was having this conversation with somebody not too long ago. This is how you know what experience people did and did not have. And they just ramble off. And again, don't get fooled because there's a high number next to their name, a blue check mark, anything. It just means that they're popular. But being right or being wrong means nothing no more. So popularity means nothing when it comes to being informed. I want to take Shaka. Shout out to Shaka. I want to take her position, for example. Now, the inner workings of Fortune 500 companies as far as how they acquire business or the things that they do to curate their products and services may differ. But there are certain operational things that are the same across the board. Pretty much when it comes to new positions, things like Interpay, where you go to another department, utilize their services. Even though y'all within the same company, you still got to pay for it. I mean, that's just and that's how Fortune 500 companies work. You still got to pay. I still got to pay. Excuse me. Department B for their services. So it's like an there may be different names for different places, but there's like an inter charge or Interpay process that goes through. You know what I mean? Into where I may hit some places call it a cost code, some internal accounts where I hit my cost code and I got to send it to their cost code. And there's a lot more leniency between those things happening because we're all, batting for the same team. But again, it still has to happen. It's a transaction that has a monetary, has monetary interest involved. You use one of our programmers to build this program for you. We're charging you an Interpay of $100 per hour, and you still it's still an invoice, right? And it happens across the board with Fortune 500 companies. Another thing that happens with Fortune 500 companies, and it's set up this way because when investors are looking at how the board and the senior people are delegating expenses, costs, associated to unemployment insurance and social security benefits that are being paid to people, they want to know that things that tack against those expenses are being approved at the highest level. Right? So when you have a situation where, like Shaka, a new position was created for her, somebody at Stadia didn't just say, you know what, we want to create a new position for Shaka. And okay, let's go into our petty cash jar and give her an extra whatever a year. That position has to first be drafted by the senior people in that department. Then the senior people walk that over to HR and make sure that everything is structurally right, that it fits all the rules and laws and regulations as far as the things, as far as the tasks and compensation and all that stuff. Because again, they want to fill the position, so it's not just a legal thing, it's a competitive thing. How are we going to get the best talent if we're only offering XYZ for this position when our competitors are offering A, B, C, D, E, F, G for this position? So you work with HR, you do all that, and then once you get that model drafted, then you turn it over to the senior people at the top of the company. who get a master list of all these things or all these positions that are being created, and they have to approve it. This isn't just about raises. It's different when it's raises for an already established position. But when it's a new position, investors require senior people to be involved in that. So the senior people at the top of the company, I don't care if it's the cafeteria, they're involved in that. Nobody is going to approve compensation and increase to the unemployment insurance that you have to pay, the Social Security wages that have to be deposited with the state and so forth. Nobody's going to approve that for a position, for a sector that you're done with. The question is going to be why? We're done with you. This is all that you get. We're riding you out into the sunset. You're going to be sunset. No, we're not creating nothing new for you. For what? That's where precedent, knowledge, experience, and all that stuff trumps all this trash that you hear on the internet. That's why I always urge my listeners, stop getting so engrossed and so involved to anybody with a microphone. Anybody can grab a microphone and sound tantalizing and sound like they know what the hell that they talk. What is their background? And can they prove, based upon facts and logic, that they know what they're talking about? This is why when that Business Insider article came out, I didn't say that everything was wrong, but the whole thesis of it was just out of whack. From a business standpoint, it just didn't make any sense. And that's why it hits towards the end of 2022 with the expansion of Mexico, picking up new games and all the other stuff that Stadia has revealed towards the end of this year. Nobody even wants to reference that Business Insider article anymore. But y'all were believing it like it was the Holy Grail at the beginning of the year. I had people showing up in my chats asking me, what are we doing here? Why won't we believe Business Insider? They're called Business Insider. I'm not expecting everyone on the other end of this mic to know that off the bat. But caution yourself before you just hear something and absorb it, even from me. Go look it up. Go on the internet and look up how to create a new position in a Fortune 500 company. Measure that versus what I just told you. And there you have it. I get it. Life is busy. We got a lot of things going. Got to take kids to the soccer game. Got to cook dinner, all that other stuff. But before it's dangerous for you and your betterment as far as the knowledge base that you build when you just listen to a tantalizing voice and absorb what they're telling you. I never do that. If I hear something that's new to me, I gotta cross-reference it. And maybe that's just second nature for me because what I've been doing for the majority of my career requires 100% efficiency. Like the department that I'm working in, when I first got there, and they was like, we operate within 99 point, I think it's a weird number, 99.6% efficiency. It used to be 99.3. And now it's 99.6. So if I'm not 99.6% efficient, my job is on the line. Meaning when you look at the volume of the things that I process and I handle, or the efficiency of my team when I managed. I do a lot of project management stuff where it's all on me now. That's why I can get away skate with just a couple hours. But when I managed, my team had to be, I had to be there, and my team had to be at 99.6. It's crazy. Efficiency. So when you hear this stuff from people, before you absorb it, what is their background? And you ain't got to go call up their job and ask for it. You ain't got to do that. All you got to do is have a conversation with them, or just dig into their conversations and see what they actually know. And if they're just giving you a bunch of wordy bibble babble without context and substance, you'll be able to pick it up immediately without even being a SME or a subject matter expert in the thing that you're trying to discover. This is why the whole killed by Google thing, it was just amazing and embarrassing for the journos that picked it up like that was real news. Your antennas ain't up because it's all about copy and paste. So I just had to put that out there because, again, I see us again falling for things that are being said because people have a lot of followers, blue check marks, all this other stuff. They're known. We see them on TV shows, or we see them at IGN or GameSpot. We see them there, and we assume that they've gotten to that echelon of notoriety based off the knowledge base, and that's completely wrong. All right. So hopefully you guys understand that. Shout out to Geek. You always try to get me in trouble, bro. You always trying to get me in trouble. You said I want some Heartlands. I don't have no Heartlands footage for you, man. I don't have it for you, man. All right. Last thing I want to cover, and then we're going to move on to the other news in the raffle, is last but certainly not least, man, Outbreak Shades of Horror reaches its goal on Kickstarter. So the story reads as follows. After just a week on Kickstarter, the next generation game Outbreak Classic Survival Horror Series Outbreak Shades of Horror by Dead Drop Studios has met its funding goal. This means that the game is officially coming to Stadia as well as other platforms. And I just want to say this real quick, because I got a video that's coming out. If you're listening to this live on Friday, it's coming out today. It's going to come out like an hour after we end this right here, where we do an article spotlight, and then I give my thoughts on this. I want to say this. I mean, you may or may not have seen me engage in or talk about earlier conversations that were had about this game. And I, in no way, shape, and form do I want to discredit those that may have a certain personal opinion about whether this is something that they want to support. I am all for inclusion when it comes to you doing what you want to do. I just caution people to trying to force people into doing what you want them to do. We have to be very careful, because I think one of the most dangerous things in gaming is talking to someone like they're stupid and we know what's best for them. Like, for instance, my homie Geek to Sneak loves Game Pass. I don't. My homie Simpleton doesn't see the alarming parallels with this Activision deal. I do. All I can do is explain my position. It's not my job to grab them by the arm and pull them over to my spot. Because Geek to Sneak is not stupid, despite his name. It's all for comedy purposes. Simpleton is not stupid. They were able to put on their shoes, use the bathroom, wipe their orifices, put on their clothes, go to work, come home, and play games years before they ever knew who the hell an MM2K was. And I just have something, and again, I pegged this earlier. It's a young man's thing. I know, because I used to have those same unruly testosterone running through my body, where I started realizing things for the first time, and therefore, because I started realizing them, nobody else had realized them, because everybody's too calm about this. No, it's just that I realized it first. It's just that I realized it for the first time for myself, where everybody else could have realized it decades ago. But we got to stop dealing with other gamers like they're stupid and they don't know what's best for them. Yes, to inform the unsuspecting gamer, put everything out on the table, but at the end of the day, let them make the decision. And they did. And they decided to fund this game. Some decided to do it because they like it. Some decided to do it because they're not quite sure, but they're interested. Some decided to do it because maybe they're not interested in playing it, but they just want to see it on the platform. It's their money. And they decided to support it. And now, because of it, we're going to get more options on the platform. And I say this in the video, and I want to say this here. We do a lot of talking about how we want Stadia to be like Xbox and PlayStation. But we don't realize how that's just rhetoric spewing from our mouths, because it doesn't match our actions. Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo has games like Outbreak, small games from small developers, as we say in this article, building up their gamer chops. You know what I'm saying? And really, we never know. 5 years from now, there could be 100 employees instead of 2 at Daedrop Studios. And they could be making the next God of War or whatever. And this is where they start from. You know what I mean? Those Xbox and PlayStation are giving developers like Daedrop Studios and games like Outbreak that opportunity to build and establish themselves. And for the last few generations, game generations, that's been a staple of mainstream gaming, is granting those opportunities. ID at Xbox, you know what I'm saying? And as we point out in our article, this game, you can tell, is more ambitious than the other ones. And each one, according to the developers, has seen more success incrementally. We don't become a platform that's on their level when we try to gatekeep and say, oh no, I only want AAA experiences on here. We should only be fighting for AAA experiences. We start go looking for numbers and all this other stuff to justify why people shouldn't be interested in what they're interesting, or people shouldn't support what they want to support. Like they're stupid. Like, I need you to come in with your lab coat and tell me, why theoretically Billy Bob Thornton from Tacoma, Arizona, wherever, knows what's best for me better than I do. Ain't nothing wrong with informing people or laying facts out there. But again, explain your position. Don't try to pull people to your position, because they don't need you to help navigate them. Just give them the roadmap. And that's something that from this current generation of the newer these younger guys, I don't like it. Don't like it. just because we grabbed a mic or just because you decided to do this does not make me better than you on the other end of this mic. Doesn't make me smarter than you. You have the same ability to look up the same stuff that I have looked up and have the same knowledge base, if not better. And God damn it, I'm proud that the community supported this effort. And good people with good intentions that could blow it out of the water down the road, like our good friends at Did Drop Studios, have seen success today. I'm happy to see it. So kudos to them. Shout out to them. Shout out to all of you that participated. And we'll see. And again, for those that want to just wait and see, again, that's your right. Who am I to say, I support it, you should support it too? No, absolutely not. So, everything's been put out, and the company themselves were fantastic at being very transparent, answering any questions that people wanted to pose to them directly, and putting everything out there and letting people make their decision. And enough people decided after all that was available out there for them to scour through. So hey, let's give this thing a shot. And instances like that gets us closer as well to Xbox and PlayStation, not just AAA games. So very proud that happened. All right. With that said, that's it for the Stadia news. Simpleton says, you're assuming I can dress myself. It's alarming how many days I spend in the same pajamas. Well, it doesn't mean that you can't dress yourself. I'm telling you, I get it. Ain't nothing like being in the same pajamas or in my case, same bathroom, walking around the house like Fred Sanford. But I know you can get yourself dressed. Okay. Oh God, yeah. Prayers in for our good brother, Bulls for Life, man. Fellow old dirty blaster. You know what I'm saying? Always been a supporter of this platform. So, absolutely. So prayers up for our good friend, Bulls for Life. All right. So now we're going to change the order of operations. And definitely check out my video. Like I said, we're going to launch it like an hour from when this ends. And we're going to have to end soon. Here, what's going on here? How come I can't? Okay. Cloud news. Jesus Christ. Let's get rid of Stadia news. Let's we got to fix this. Let's see here. Definitely got to fix that. No. Not that. Cloud news. We got to move this over. First, we got to move that down. Jesus Christ. Got to move that over this way. Come on. Come on. There we go. And then we got to move this down. Jeez Louise. All right. So cloud news. All right, let's talk about it. GFN. For some reason, I can't find the link. GFN. Hold on. GFN has now reached 1,400 games on the platform. Here we go. We got it. It's a new milestone for the platform. I'm gonna put this up here. Boom, bada bing. It says GeForce now supports over 1,400 games. And then there's some updates to the LG smart TVs and Samsung smart TVs. I just wanted to give a quick shout out real quick to GFN. I think that they're taking a way smarter approach as of late. Yes, they utilize the cloud. Yes, they have games. That's a similarity that they have with Stadia. I think beyond that, that's it. They were available on LG TV, you know what I'm saying? But as far as a competitive nature, I mean, I think for bragging right, for braggarts and bragging rights, yeah, you may take a nudge at them and say, hey, look, we can announce 20 million users. What about you? But I think as far as like a consumer competitive level, I think trying to cross the streams and worry about Stadia's gamers is an underutilization of what you could do. And I think they've realized that, and they've curved that, it appears, and it looks like they're being more defined and possibly seeing more success because of it. I mean, they made that 20 million announcement, rather quickly from the 15 million announcement. So it's great to see. Yeah, this is a conduit to a PC experience. And for those that, can't take full advantage of the PC hardware experience, either because of location or financials or whatever the case, availability, GFN is a great option for you. So, yeah, again, I feel like they're seeing success because of their newfound approach. Hopefully they keep it up. They're smarter about it, for the long term. And again, regardless of if you fit into the litmus for this platform is adding heavily to the importance of cloud gaming, because it just shows you that without access to native hardware, it doesn't mean that you can't get a cloud experience that prompts you very close to what you get close to at a hardware level. And I want to say this. Let's take Stadia off the table. When it comes to games like Call of Duty, this is why another reason why I'm not a big fan of a game like Call of Duty, decades long lineage, being gobbled up by one company to just be pit to one platform. We're running into a situation now to where natively gamers I forgot where I saw this study at. Gamers for Call of Duty are complaining, they're upset. Why? Because they feel like the latency, on Call of Duty, even natively or particularly natively, is getting horrible. I think they use peer-to-peer servers and stuff like that, but still, your button presses and stuff like that natively may hit the console on time, but then all that data has to be transmitted to the servers that they're at and then translate to the other gamers and stuff, which increasingly is causing more lag and more latency as gamers attest to. So it's getting worse. So you could run into a situation where, because of that dynamic, latency is going to get worse natively, while even though when it comes to button presses and commands, cloud gaming may be a tad bit slower, but server side, you don't have that problem with latency server side, because all of the instances are on the same servers. It's not a peer-to-peer, it's just all happening on the same server. So you're not pinging to consoles here and there and there and whatever. So you could run into a situation where the AI and machine learning, let's just use GFN as an example, increases your latency from your button presses, and with a better latency, because everything is server side, you're going to get a better experience competitively on the GFN, particularly the 3080 tier, than you would natively. We may not be too long away from a situation like that if the state of affairs continue to happen that Call of Duty gamers are complaining about. So GFN is definitely, even if it's not for you as a consumer, you got to give them their flowers. It's contributing to that argument, to where that arguments that even Stadia was making way back when, that people laughed at. That even those that are not the biggest Stadia supporters told you, let's not go too overboard now. This negative latency thing is not to be laughed at. But it's just creating that case to where just showing you that cloud gaming is the future. You know what I mean? So kudos to GFN for contributing to that cause, and them having a vast catalog like that. You know, if Pete was here, he would be, you know, grasping his palms until they were bleeding. Shout out to my brother Pete. But I still think, you know, having a library of 1,400 games, I think that's dope. That's dope. Shout out to their contributions. All right. So we got all that out of the way. We're going to do the raffle. And then after we do the raffle, I'm going to answer my brother Simpleton's questions that I got pinned here. Trust me, it's great stuff. Let's see here. All right. What do I think their T's and C's does? I don't know. Some people are speculating VR. They're speculating VR. And that would be dope. That would definitely be dope. All right. So, you know how we do. Let me show you something. All right, now we're doing the raffle. I know I need help. We're doing the raffle. And hold on. Okay, let me get that up there and close this. We're doing the raffle, and let me show you. We got 2 raffles that we're going to do today. The first raffle is for the monthly controller. Now, what I was going to do is I was going to upgrade it to a play and watch bundle, but because I thought they had that code out there, and I was like, oh, we got enough in the budget to cover that, because that'll actually be cheaper than a controller, and we can offer people more. So I was going to give people an opportunity that you would have had to answer today to let us know if you wanted the controller or the plug and play bundle, because if you would have got the plug and play bundle, you would have been forced, I believe, into the white controller. I think so. So I was going to give people the option, but because it was a coupon that would have made the plug and play bundle cheaper than just getting the controller. But that's only in UK. It's not globally. It's not in the States. So I can't do it, unfortunately. So this is going to be for the controller, and as we do every month, we take everybody, depending upon your level as a member for Stadia Dosage News, you'll get tickets. If you're a Dose member, you get 1 ticket. If you're a prescription member, you get 2 tickets. If you're a Sure Shot member, you get 3 tickets. And again, we raffle either a controller or a play and watch bundle every month. The first 2 months of every quarter is a controller. The third month of a quarter is a play and watch bundle. So we got that raffle going. And then we also got part 2 of our raffle for the support that people have given in July and August. So if you super chatted or super thank you'd in July and August, there you go. Your name is there. All right. So let's do it. Let's do the first raffle for the controller. Y'all ready? You ready? Get ready. All right. Get ready. What is going on here? Why does this always move to the top? Let's get ready. All right, and this is for, again, the members' appreciation for the Stadia controller. Let's roll it. Yeah. Oh, Clive and Linden. Okay, Clive. Congratulations to Clive Linden for winning the Stadia controller this month. All right, shout out to Clive. We'll reach out to Clive for his gift. Thank you so much, Clive, for your support and then just this wonderful things you do for the Stadia community. All right, now for the Stadia Premier Bundle. The Stadia Premier Bundle for those that supported the platform either by Super Chat or Super Thanks in the month of July and August. Your names are here. And if you would have done so during any of the shows that were hosted outside of Chill Times with Squid. I just want to make that clear because Squid had his raffle already. These are for all the other shows, you know, SLS featured MM2K, SSC podcast, CGR, and so forth. All right. So here we go. And let's see who gets the the Stadia Premier bundle. The winner of this raffle is all right, Anello Scambata. Anello, I think I've seen you in the chat. Anello Scambata. We got you. All right. So, yeah, Anello, I saw you earlier. There you go, Anello. Anello Scambata. All right, so Anello, here's what I want to do so I don't forget, because I have a spreadsheet with you guys on here. So I'm going to highlight you on my spreadsheet. I'm gonna highlight you right here on my spreadsheet that y'all can't see. And then I'm gonna go to Clive, and then I'm gonna highlight Clive here. Cool. And then I'm gonna file save as, I gotta save this as, here we go. All right, and I got y'all recorded, man. Congratulations, man. And you know what? Thank you guys so much for your support. Anello, what I'm gonna do for you is, here, let me do this. Anello, I'm gonna leave a comment, because we got to make sure, because we had a situation where somebody tried to do something slick last month, and it almost delayed. Who was our winner last month? Our winner last month was he's in here. Sanchez was our winner last month, and I think Sanchez. What happened was somebody tried to be slick. And Sanchez was communicating with me the same time I just discovered this. Somebody was communicating with me the same time Sanchez was, and I sent the thing to them by accident, but my handwriting was so sloppy at the post office it ended up coming back. And so then and I realized it. I didn't realize it till later, but then I resent it to Sanchez. So Sanchez, you know, I found the right Sanchez, so we got to be very careful. So Angelo, just bear with me. I'm gonna find a way to communicate with you, and we're gonna send you this thing. I'll reach out to you. A matter of fact, I think I do have your email. I'll reach out to you, Anello. So shout out to Anello and shout out to Clive for winning. We appreciate y'all. Now I'm gonna answer Simpleton's question. All right, so let's go back here. And you guys, and before we do that, you guys mean so much to this platform. We can't do this without you. You know, and again, I know a lot of people were turned off by a lot of the more intimate conversations that I have being put member side, but as you can see, there's a reason. Oh, hold on, Geek, you said you never received yours? You never received your premiere? Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, you still didn't receive it, because that's right. We communicated. I sent the other one. All right, well, let me look into that one. Let me look and see why that happened. We'll definitely check that out. I believe Geek, did I send you a? Let me make sure that I'm not lying here. Geek, did I send you a? Because I got one downstairs. I just looked at it, and I'm wondering, like, where the hell did that come from? Did I send you a tracking number? If I didn't send you a tracking number, then I'm guilty. I didn't send it out yet. So I gotta order Anello's and I gotta send yours out. Just let me know. I was like, oh, I got an extra one here. Let me know if I didn't send you a track, because after the first mix up, I was sending it out via tracking. So I just want to make sure, dude, and I apologize, y'all, so much. We sent out so much stuff this month, and it's crazy. And shout out to Cosino, thank you so much for helping and some of this stuff being sent out. I want to shout out to Cody Maloney for gifting us so much, and it's been it's been crazy trying to send all these out. But Geek to Sneak, let me know if I sent you a tracking number. If I didn't send you a tracking number, then I'm guilty. That's my bad. You says I never got a try. Okay, then that's my bad. I'm sorry, brother. When am I going out? Jesus Christ. Monday. I'm definitely going out Monday. You should get a tracking number from me Monday. I apologize, brother. I'm sorry. Thank goodness you ain't need this to start playing Stadia. Oh my God. Yeah, y'all wouldn't believe the amount, and thank y'all so much because y'all sent us so much stuff, but you wouldn't believe the amount of like codes and stuff. And we got spreadsheets all over the place, and I thought I had everything taken care of. And y'all can see I can still ain't send my brother his thing. So I got to send that out Monday, and I'm gonna send out Anello's as well. So thank y'all so much for your support and your understanding and your patience. We can't do this without y'all. And again, everything that we give, we try to give back to y'all. So thank you. All right. So last thing I want to do now is I want to answer Simpleton's questions. Simpleton had a great question in regards to what I was talking about during the member section about why I don't like the Activision deal with Microsoft. He says, how is Activision thing different than all publishers? Sony has been buying up for years, and I only say Sony for comparison, and I'm aware of Microsoft and Nintendo too. Here's why, and I said this earlier. There's a difference between what Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. Hold on, let me get rid of this janky raffle time in the middle of nowhere. Hold on. Oh God. The difference is, hold on one second. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right. So the difference is what everybody used to do, and which I'm all for, is something that really attracted me to the 360 and made the 360 really my favorite platform of all times. They would back certain ideals, have them timed exclusive or, permanent third-party deals because they invested in them. But that entire franchise would never be omitted from other platforms. Prime example. The first thing that they would do is deal games like BioShock and Mass Effect. They were timed exclusive, for a very long time, and frustratingly long time for other people. They were time exclusives, and these were new ideas. These were new breathing ideas that Microsoft came across and said, look, we like that and we want to help it come to fruition. Like Sony wasn't checking for no BioShock or no Mass Effect. Microsoft went to BioWare. They went to the people that made BioShock, Infinity. I forgot the name of that group that made BioShock, and saw the ideas and said, how can we invest? We like this. PlayStation wasn't checking for them. Even with the Tomb Raider deals, that's what Microsoft did, with Phil Spencer and Crystal Dynamics, right? They helped nurture and cater ideas because that's what everybody was doing. Nintendo did it with certain games, and even PlayStation did it with certain games. And yes, it was frustrating to see certain content, like for Destiny or whatever, be withheld from the platforms for X amount of time. But you never saw a situation to where the entire franchise, which was a third-party multi-plat franchise, be held away forever. Another example, when the Xbox 360 launched, it launched with Call of Duty 2. That was an exclusive title that was only on PC and Xbox. But Xbox didn't keep those games, didn't keep the entire franchise off of PlayStation forever. Even though Microsoft had to fight to get access to GTA and other games when they were exclusive to PlayStation, you got to remember, some of it is because the companies weren't checking for them. GTA 3 was first pitched to Microsoft and they rejected it. Said, nah, we don't want this. And it became exclusive to PlayStation for a while. And then finally the GTA games became multiplayer. So what I'm saying is, even though there are certain deals for content or certain titles within franchises that are frustrating to those on other platforms, the franchise itself is not buried away from other gamers. What Microsoft is proposing is now keeping these franchises away, not because they were funding them in the past and this was their, like, for instance, I'm not so mad at Bethesda because Bethesda is who they are today because of Microsoft's involvement. I'm not mad at Insomniac because Insomniac is today because of PlayStation's involvement. Those are different. But when it comes to Activision Blizzard, Microsoft had really nothing to do with the grooming of those games. Really, most of the marketing deals and the funding for those games over the course of time came from Sony. And now you're stripping that away from everybody, not just Sony, but everybody, when those games were normally multi-platform. I don't like that because, again, it's setting the precedent that everybody's going to do that. And so now I'm going to need, and it doesn't bother me because I buy everything anyway, or most stuff anyway. But a gamer who is supposed to see an easing to their pockets because of cloud gaming or whatever, they're not going to see that ease now, because now you're going to have these conglomerates. You're going to have Amazon buy EA, Google buy Ubisoft, and everybody's going to be fighting to make everything exclusive. So you're forced into buying everything again. I don't like the precedents being sent. So this is different from those actions that you rightfully pegged, not only to Sony, but everybody else. Because entire franchises that were normally multi-plat weren't being ripped away from other gamers. Like, it would be like I would feel the same way if PlayStation bought EA and said Madden is only now going to be available on PlayStation. I would feel the exact same way. These are multi-platform titles that were multi-platform before your involvement. And now you're taking away options from gamers. I don't like that. For something that they've for decades have had access to. Now, if you were working with EA to create a new game or a new franchise that'll never see the light of day on Xbox, that's different. But something with decades long standing on other platforms, to just buy them and take that away, I don't know how I feel about that. There's some exceptions to the rule. Bethesda made sense because, again, Xbox really made Bethesda. They made them. I don't care what anybody says. They made them. Insomniac, Sony made them. Makes sense. Activision, EA, Ubisoft, no. Absolutely not. But you're running into a situation to where you're going to force a precedent where they will get gobbled up, and then you're going to have to deal with a platform that you normally wouldn't want to even deal with just to access that game. That limits player options. I don't like it. So that's the difference to me. Let's get back to the social. See what other people got to say about it. It says, so, yep, that's what I pointed out. Sony bought publishers like Insomniac, Naughty Dog, yep. They bought them, but they didn't have decades-long standing like it. Like EA, Activision, Blizzard, Ubisoft, they're in the franchises that they've created, that's different. That's different. Like Insomniac, Naughty Dog, and Santa Monica, like they weren't making big ticket top 3 games that had decades long standing. That's different. Like nobody was looking for Naughty Dog. It says Sony was playing publishers to keep games off Xbox. So was Xbox. Don't fall for that stuff about, oh, Sony was doing this. Sony was just more out. I mean, Sony just gets pegged with it. It's in all of their contracts. When we put this in Game Pass, why do you think that things be in Game Pass and then once it comes out, it finally comes to Stadia? Or, or vice versa, you know what I mean? It's in everybody's contract to withhold from each other. So that's just not a Sony thing. Yep. But Spider-Man from Insomniac doesn't have decades long standing. Last of Us, they helped Phil Harrison, our guy, told you that that Sony is the one that helped groom Naughty Dog into Last of Us. Wasn't a franchise that was established on Nintendo and Sega and all the other stuff, and then all of a sudden they bought them up. No, PlayStation made them. And that's why I'm singing this tune about Activision, but I'm not singing it about Bethesda. It makes sense. Bethesda wouldn't be who they are without the exposure that was granted to them through Xbox. I get that. That's different. But Ubisoft, EA, and Activision, no, absolutely not. No, PlayStation isn't reaping what they've sown because Xbox did it first. PlayStation has just been more successful this generation. PlayStation did it first with the mark. Xbox. Read Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. This is what I'm saying. Y'all getting caught up in the current rhetoric of now. Read Blood, Sweat, and Pixels of what Peter Moore was doing with the marketing deal. Man, please. Xbox did it first. PlayStation just perfected it recently. So, and this is different. So you guys aren't making a correlating argument because the things that you're describing is not what we're talking about here. You're talking about a company buying a developer, grooming that developer, and that developer then afterwards making games that people would love to have on every single platform, but they're not because that platform provider groomed them. That's different. Even in Bethesda's case. Hold on one second. No, I'll get that in a little bit. Even in Bethesda's case, Bethesda is interlocked. Their success is interlocked to Xbox. Makes sense. Insomniac's success is interlocked to PlayStation. Makes sense. EA and Ubisoft and Activision success is not just interlocked to Xbox or PlayStation. It's interlocked to multiple platforms for multiple decades. And it's one thing to have a Splinter Cell on an Xbox, or to have this franchise on a PlayStation. To buy franchises, the entire franchises, every iteration from here on out that was long-standing on multiple platforms. Take Sony out the equation. This isn't fair to Nintendo. It's not fair to anybody. And it's not good. It's beyond being fair, because business ain't fair, but it's not good. See, you guys are looking at it from a prism of, yeah, let's stick it to PlayStation. No. This just isn't a good precedent for gaming, period. So, but interesting conversation nonetheless. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the CMA and all this other stuff. We'll see what happens. But I definitely don't like it. Geek. You gotta read Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. You gotta read it. Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. Sony's job was to Xbox's job was to eradicate PlayStation and take them out of your living room. Xbox, unfortunately, arrogantly thought that they were on the cusp of doing that when they brought out the Xbox One and started talking TV. They just considered them already dead. They wanted them out of the living room. They wanted to destroy the PlayStation. That's why they lost $10 billion doing it. They didn't care. It was a must to destroy PlayStation. They both wanted to destroy each other. You got to read Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, and then go watch Power On. Go watch all 6 episodes. And again, you don't want to make the false correlation. PlayStation's tactics were better as far as securing highly wanted content. That's different from a possible monopoly of already established franchises. They're two totally different things. So, we'll see. I hear you, Simpleton. I don't like it. I see that they were going in this direction, and I don't like it. And I think we're going to be. I don't want anybody doing this. I don't want Google doing this. This wouldn't put Stadia on top if they did. I don't want Google doing this. I don't want Google doing this. I don't want anybody doing this. Curating the title. Do you understand that that's going to create a monopoly? That's y'all, man. Phil Spencer got y'all tricked. I don't want Jim Ryan owning this, owning everything. I don't want micros. I just don't want this precedent set. I want companies to fight for my dollar by creating content that I want on their own, primarily by making, okay, you go to certain publishers and you start something from scratch. Cool. In some cases, you buy entire franchises. Like I said, Insomniac makes sense. Bethesda makes sense. I'm not too worried about them. But other games that have had long standing like when you think of a Bethesda game, your best experience was always on Xbox. You know what I'm saying? You think Insomniac, they always did their best work on PlayStation. That, that makes sense. But no, I don't want this for anybody. I don't want Google to do it. But that's what's going to end up happening. Google, when they get to that point, they are going to have to do it. If this goes through, they're going to have to do it. It's just, instead of forcing allowing all these platforms to have access, to continue to have access to these games with decades long standing, and the deciding factor being how well your platform. Think about that. What you're saying is you want the less to come out of your experience, because what happens is when you just allow them to buy up already established platforms like this so easily, when you allow this to happen, then that's less work that they got to put into building their own platform, because you got to come to us anyway to play this game, because we're the only place that has it. Where else do you know? This is what I'm saying. I think sometimes as gamers, I don't think we're looking at this from 5,000 feet. Where else do you know where somebody holds a monopoly on something that's highly in demand? Do they go all out to make your experience this, that, and the third? You need them in order to get access to this. They could care less if your journey to whatever said product or thing is. You can't go nowhere else. And look at Madden is a prime example. Madden is a prime example. Now that they've bought out the exclusive license to NFL, you're getting more and more complaints, even though Madden is still, it's doing well, because if you want to play sports, football sim, you got to go. You have no choice. But the state of football simulation has never been as critically lauded as it is now. When you had multiple choices and they had to fight for your dollar. Now that Madden ain't got to fight for your dollar, every 4 years you might get, a new iteration. Of course it's going to be successful because people want to play a football sim. But are you really getting the better Maddens since they don't have to compete with anybody? So just draw the parallels where what you're celebrating is happening elsewhere, and you can see what you're about to get. And this has nothing to do with PlayStation to me. This is anybody. I don't want any company just gobbling up pre-established franchises to put on their platform, because then that puts them in a position to where they don't have to better the platform, because I'm forced to just get to, you know what I mean? Those are my thoughts. Hey, maybe I'm just a crazy guy in the room. So, with that said, I appreciate everybody. Whoa, what the hell is that? That's a big ass bee. How did that bee get in here? I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all so much. And again, check us out over on MM2K Gaming. We're going to be doing a lot more game streams and having a lot more fun. And we're still going to be doing this stuff here and chopping up with you guys. But we really want to get that game in, and so check us out over there. And and if you're watching this on Sunday, go back and check out the VOD of CGR Cloud and Game Reviews. It's now every Saturday. Check it. Set your timers for that tomorrow. We got a lot of stuff waiting for you. All right, until next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.